3. No. 2.
All right, we're good. Put questions up for Beth.
Nice. Figured.
Yeah, I wasn't just blatantly being an asshole and not.
No, I've gotten that one down. Just making sure. All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Scoots McGee. What's up, dude?
Well, I think we have to say it.
What?
Pretty much enjoying this season of OC.
That's a good season. It's a good
Yeah.
season. 3
It's
good
a good
episodes.
season.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's not too dark. I mean, obviously, there's some things that we can talk about, but it's just enjoyable. I'm just having a
It
good
is.
time.
And I think it's coming at a very good time as well. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds nasally to all of our listeners out there. I don't get allergies like hardly ever. And of course, in like the middle of summer, I get allergies or I'm
Right.
getting sick. I don't know. It could be that I'm not sleeping and I'm stressed. So who knows? But everything's fine. I'm fine. Shooter, he's fine. It's all fine. Back to what we
Okay.
were talking
Yeah.
about. I think that RHOC is also coming at a very good time because we're coming off the heels of a shit Jersey season. So they came in with a need to fill a role of, hey, housewives can be fun, housewives can be entertaining. And they took the right approach. It's been fun for the most part. It's been fairly lighthearted. The drama, as of now, has not gotten too deep, as you said. There are some avenues in which it could get pretty deep, but I think that will be welcomed along the way. They seem to be doing it right. Like it's going in the right direction. They're building it up at the right times. All in all, it's simply just enjoyable right now. And I'm liking pretty much everybody. Katie, meh, but the rest of the crew, I'm digging. No?
No. You like Tamra now? What the hell is
Oh
this?
no, Tamra, that's like an outlier. Like that's inherent that no, fuck that. No
I mean, she
way.
hasn't really, I mean, up until this episode, she hadn't really done much of anything. Like,
Oh, she's
yes,
getting ready.
we have questions about why she's treating Shannon the way that she is and not being a good friend. This episode pissed me off and it reminded me why I hate Tamra.
That's so funny because it did the same for me. I wrote down a few
Yeah.
times like Tamra gonna Tamra because she just looks for her ways to nitpick and how to move in a certain way, and that's what
Yeah.
she's always done and always will do. So I agree with that, and I figured that you assumed and knew that I wasn't talking about Tamra. I was talking about the rest of the cast.
Thank God.
With Vicky back on the screen, who is a delight. I'm glad that Vicky's back in the fold. It's still one of the most confusing things to me is how Bravo treats Vicky Gunvalson. I don't understand it. That being said, she is now getting sued for a similar like a Jen from Jen Shaw from Roslick kind of deal that's going on right now. We don't really know the ins and outs. I don't want to speculate too much.
Yeah.
But that if that comes to fruition and that's real, then yeah, fuck her. But at the time, right now, innocent until proven guilty, glad she's back on the screen because she's just fun. She's fun TV.
Yeah, she's really fun TV. I think that the reason why Bravo's not paying her what she wants, not having her on full time, things like that, is probably because they didn't know what to do with her. They were probably looking at OC. They had brought back Tamra. They wanted to see how that was going to work. Let's bring Vicky back in a friend of role and just throw her out there so we don't have to pay her in case this show fails and people don't watch it. Then we don't have to waste a ton of money on having Vicky come back for a failed franchise. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. I've been trying to wrap my head around it because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I don't see, yes, I do think she's asking for like Teresa money, but she should probably be getting Teresa type of money. So that's why I'm like, I don't really know. If you're going to pay Teresa to go do that in Jersey, and Jersey is flopping hard, why wouldn't you also be willing to pay Vicky for a show that looks like it's doing a little bit better? And if Vicky was on full time, I think everybody would be happy with that. So I don't really understand that.
Does she deserve Teresa money? That's subjective. I don't know. Maybe. But the bottom line is you can find some kind of number in which she's happy to come back because how do you give her like a lifetime housewife achievement award,
Yeah.
but you won't invite her full time on the show? That's where I get confused. I'm like, all right, well, how much is she actually worth to you? Because it just confuses me. But as you said, this season is good so far. And to anybody out there that thinks that we don't change opinions around here, we're biased. We fucking hated this show last year. So I'm elated that we're watching it and enjoying it this year. It's much more fun to not hate watch things. So thank you, OC. Goodbye. That's it. We're done for today. Bra Bros are out of here.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
See ya.
Bye. No. Let's dive into this episode. And we start out with Terry and Heather. And they got a lot of problems. They got a lot of issues. Okay. They don't know if they should live in the penthouse. Should they go live in the apartment? Should they lease the penthouse? Should they live? How many places were they talking about besides pointing out that's our house right there, right next to Drake's house over there? No big deal.
Yeah, I think I got about four or five properties that they were talking about there. They didn't mention Disneyland. I feel like they should have just gone to Disneyland, but maybe they only go there when they're having issues. It makes them happy. Mickey Mouse
the
makes everybody
Cinderella
happy.
suite. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as they're talking, they're recapping the flag football game and how Shannon's avoiding Tamra and Shannon's avoiding Alexis, and there's some distension in the group. And now you have this new girl, Kelly, coming into the fold, who is moving a little weird. And she's been drawing comparisons on socials to Anna Marie from Beverly Hills because she's coming in with an agenda, it seems like. She's coming in overly prepared and arguably overly comfortable. I'm not loving her approach to this season. I don't think I ever like when a newcomer comes in with a vendetta against an OG. I think it always flops. It never pans out in their favor. But the whole point of this is for Heather to say, ever since your stroke, Terry, I'm just done with the bullshit. I don't want the bullshit anymore. And what a life we live. And this is they're looking out over all of Los Angeles in their fucking penthouse, staring at their house next to Drake's house in the hills. Like, yeah, that's a great life.
What a life. What a life. Great life.
What a great life that
What a great life.
it's almost like we should highlight more people like this on Bravo and get back to the heyday of Housewives where it's like, hey, let's go see some really rich people do really rich shit and then try to relate to us common folk by saying, but I love hot dogs. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Poor people eat hot dogs is what you're saying. And like, we love hot dogs, so you love hot dogs, so you're like us. We get it. Actually, that was condescending, I thought. That comes in later.
I didn't mind that at all. I love that.
I didn't. I thought it was condescending. It's like, oh, but I love hot dogs.
Who
It's like,
doesn't love
oh,
a hot dog?
I don't know. I don't know that person yet. I hope to never meet that person. Hot
Yeah,
dogs
that's true.
are phenomenal.
Yeah.
My point is, that's what it felt like to me. It's like, I'm going to relate to the small folk and say I love hot dogs. But I agree with you. I have yet to meet somebody that doesn't like hot dogs. And then the only thing that I ever get is, you know how many nitrates are in hot dogs? You're only supposed to have like one a year. It's like, I don't care. I'm a personal trainer and I cook healthy food and I'll eat 15 hot dogs in one sitting. They're fucking
delicious.
Yeah,
they're fantastic. Fananist, yeah.
Fananist is what it is. Fantastic. And I don't even know the other word. But let's keep moving. We get to Tamra, Emily, Gina, Katie, and Jen. We're having a little dive bar night, and Shannon's not invited because we want to fuck up the vibe, according to Tamra. This moment was relatable, and Dev said the same thing we were watching. And when they get to Katie's house and people have to use the bathroom, Emily's like, I want to pee in the bush. I don't want to go inside. It's nothing against Katie or her family. I don't want to do the intros. And I was like, I get that. I definitely get that.
Fully understand that. Yeah. If you go into that bathroom, it's just nice of you to stop in and say hello. And hey, I got to run to the bathroom to go pee. See you later.
Yeah.
Thanks. Great meeting you. Oh, what do you do for work? Oh, now I'm all held up. No, I'd rather just stay on the bus if I could. I'd rather hold it and wait till I got to the bar. Maybe the bar's a little further away. Peeing in the bush, not so bad. Kind of funny.
No, it's a good move. It's a smart move. It's a veteran move. She knows what she's doing. So I appreciated that move. Very relatable. But they get to this dive bar, and the minute they say Coyote Ugly scene, I'm like, oh boy, like what are we getting into here? Who's getting on the bar? And does anybody at the bar ever like when people get on the bar? I have my own stance on this, but I want your take.
Not. Absolutely not. No, it's the worst. I mean, to see Jen behind the bar spraying what I imagine is soda water everywhere. No, Fuck off.
They're
Get out of the bar. If that's what you want to treat, I love dive bars. I absolutely adore dive bars.
Me too. I'm
Dive
sober
bars
and I love
are
dive
just
bars.
supposed to be places that have touch tunes that you could play things like Creed and Blink 182 and have a lot of fun. Maybe there's a billiards table in the back, a couple of dart boards, and just enjoy the night. Once somebody gets up on that bar, it's no longer a dive bar, and you've ruined the bar for me.
I agree. And we are big dive bar advocates here. I am sober and still love to go watch Birds games in dive bars. Shout out Country Corner. But I don't like when that happens at any bar, honestly. I never like when people get up and dance on the bar. I never think it's fun for anybody else but the people on the bar. And in this instance, how much alcohol did they waste? And you're making an absolute mess. These poor bartenders are gonna have to clean up after you because you're spraying shit all over the bar. You're pouring beer down each other's shirts. And it looked like Grey Goose that they're just pouring out. That's expensive
Yeah,
shit. That's a
it
$20 drink.
it very quickly went from the bartender saying, "I'm just gonna look the other way. Maybe I won't notice you get on the bar," to, "Hey, come behind the bar and dump all of our stuff on the ground."
I
How do
wonder
we get
what
how do we get here?
I don't know, but I wonder what the like the payback is as far I'm sure they paid for the drinks and stuff like that, but I wonder if they get a big bump because people see this bar on TV and then they want to go to that bar. Maybe that's the payoff. I don't know. I'd
I
be
don't know.
pissed.
Yeah,
If that's
I'd be
my bar, I'd be like,
curious.
"Get stop fucking spraying this. I got to clean this up later. This
God,
place is already a mess."
imagine being the bar back there too. Like, I was hoping to get out of here at like 1:30, not have to wait here, and now you're there till 3. There
Yeah,
goes your night.
easily. And the
Yep.
bar's gonna be sticky as shit from that soda water. So
Yep.
nice job, ladies. But regardless, this is where we start to talk about the paparazzi photos. And this was a sticking point last year that Harry and
Yep.
Terry and Heather had posed for some photos in Disneyland and they called the paparazzi to do so. And if you go back, we said the same thing last year when it came up. These are very clearly staged. Like the stances look awkward, the pictures look awkward, they look forced. So I am under the guise of this being a paparazzi moment that they called the paparazzi for themselves. But Katie wants to get more involved and she says, "My friend," and this confused me. And hopefully you can shed some light on the matter. I don't know how much you know about the paparazzi, but she said, "My friend runs all of the paparazzi in LA. All the photos go through this one person, and I have her number. She's a dear, dear friend. I reached out to her to ask her, hey,
I think it
did
was a guy.
Heather, was it a guy?
I
Okay.
think it was a guy,
Hey,
yeah.
did Heather call you or the paparazzi to frame these photos? Was this her doing?" And the person says back one simple text. It just says yes. Now, my question for you: is there one person in charge of all paparazzi? And two,
No.
why the hell does Katie care at this point? At this juncture, when she finds this out, why is this important? Because this is like a while ago.
Well, you've seen Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, correct?
Sure, great movie.
Great movie. The way that that works is he has some sort of middleman that goes back to the news networks or the tabloids or whatever. Maybe it's that person. Maybe it's a middle person that kind of has, 50 different paparazzi people on some sort of retainer. Or,
Okay.
hey, if you get some good information, like send it over to me. I don't think I assume that most of the housewives, most of the people on Bravo probably do call paparazzi to do things. So
Oh,
I don't
sure.
really understand this. Like, this is just the pot calling the kettle black. I think they're just mad that she's not admitting to it. But like, has anybody ever admitted to it? Like, no, it's kind of shameful. Nobody's ever going to be like, yeah, I definitely called the paparazzi so I could get some good press because everybody thought that my husband was cheating on me. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to admit that. No one's ever going to admit that. So I don't blame Heather for not admitting it. Everybody does it though, so why do they care so much? And why is Katie trying to push this? She just thinks it's a silly, goofy time, but you're trying to bring up old memories and you're trying to push back to the Terry cheating rumors. That's what I think she doesn't understand.
Oh,
So that's
that's
the
what
bigger piece
she's.
of this. Like, yeah, you can calling somebody a liar, as we've seen on multiple housewife shows, never goes over well. So calling
Nope.
them a liar and then saying, remember that time that you had press push this Disneyland thing because your husband was rumored to be cheating on you? Like, yeah, it's going to dig up some old memories and not so great feelings. So that's, I think, what the problem is. Now, going to what you actually originally asked, yeah, I do think that Katie knows somebody because she was in some sort of media, whether it be golf, and I think she said she got her start somewhere else. So yeah, she probably does know somebody who manages or might direct some paparazzi people, hey, go take these pictures and I'll pay you for the photos that you get, whatever. That's fine. I don't know. I just don't
Why?
understand why she's digging so deep on this. Like, I hate when things like that are a little innocuous, that we all know that all the housewives do, comes back from another season. Like, why are we bringing this back up? Like, we're over this. You and I had our fun with that. It was kind of goofy. I like seeing the pictures of them, holding each other and like pointing at like the Disney castle, whatever the hell
That
they
was
were
fun.
doing. It's fun. That was a good time last year. It's not fun anymore. I don't care anymore.
No, and it's confusing to me, and that's where it's like an Anna Marie thing where she would bring up things from seasons past where it's like, well, you
Yeah.
weren't there for that, so you don't get to use that as ammo. That's not how this
Yeah.
game works. That's where I got a parallel to that, and it's very confusing. Did she know she was going to be on the show last year or whenever she texted her friend? And it's not shocking to me that she knows somebody in the paparazzi
Yeah.
game. Like, that's not surprising, but I'm just confused as to what her motives are. And as you said, this is an innocuous thing, and a lot of people do this. Look at any TMZ interview with a Bravo Leb. They are all so fake. It's like, oh, fancy seeing you here at your back alley while you're taking out trash. What are
Yeah.
you up to? Or, oh, fancy seeing you here
Just
at your
just
12
point
p.m.
to
flight.
Jackson and Sandoval.
Jackson Sandoval are the worst at it because
They
it's
went on
quite
they went on
clearly
a full
staged.
press tour via the paparazzi last year in
Yeah,
their separate issues. So yeah, no, we know that this happens. Everybody knows that it happens. Who cares?
I'm just confused. Like, yeah, exactly. Who cares? Why is it that big of a deal? And I think
I
it
think
comes
it's
back. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I think you were gonna say the same thing I am.
It goes back to they all are jealous of Heather and they want to
Yeah.
find ways to poke holes in her armor where it's like, oh, you were lying. It's like, yeah, but who fucking cares? It's about a picture that they took in Disneyland and you guys are just butthurt because she can afford to have a house next to Drake. She can afford to have the penthouse at the same time. She can afford to pick and choose
Yeah.
wherever the fuck she wants to live. She is what all of the women in OC want to be. And they don't want to admit that. So they want to act like they're as important. Like Tamra saying, like, oh, I'm not into that kind of thing. It's like you would love if the paparazzi followed you around. They just don't. That's the difference. And
Yeah.
if she has to call them, whatever. Again, it's a TMZ move that we've seen a million times. This is such a whatever moment, but that's the root of it. The root of it is we want to find ways to get at Heather, and this is the only thing they have is this paparazzi photo and calling her a liar. That's the big
Yeah.
one.
And you know what? I think I'd be okay with it if this was just a little piece of information that you didn't spread to all of the women at one time and make a big deal about. If your main sticking point here is that Heather was a little short to you when you met her, Heather was asking people about you, like, yeah, of course, Heather was asking people about you. She's asking you
Yeah,
to
I
be
know.
friends because you're going to be on the show together, Katie. Do you think that she's just going to be like, oh, hey, Katie, it's so nice to meet you. Let me find out everything about you from you. No, everybody's going to ask. Anytime that somebody's going to have to work with someone else and you know somebody else that has worked with them, what kind of worker are they? What do they do? That's just normal. That doesn't make any sense to me. So if you're just going to sit on she disrespected me multiple times and now that I'm on the show, she wants to get to know me, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Just go about it that way and say, oh, now you want to get to know me. Here we go. Okay. I've had multiple opportunities to meet you, tried to introduce myself, tried to tell you about myself, and you didn't care. But now I'm on your show. So now you care about me. Just stick to that. And then later down the line, if Heather doesn't respond in the right way, then you can pull up the paparazzi thing. Sure. But doing it this early in the season just seems, I don't know, wrong.
Thirsty.
Yeah.
Seems super thirsty. Like someone
Super
should get her a
thirsty.
Gatorade or something like that.
Yeah.
But the big thing that comes from this is Gina says that she's known about this for a while. I guess her and Katie had talked about it, or she let her in and said, hey, this is what I got, and showed her the screenshot and all that. And Gina's like, I wasn't going to say anything because it's dumb and I don't want to bring it up and
Yeah.
cause all this shit because I'm also friends with Heather. The giddiness that Tamra has upon finding out this news was my staunch reminder of, oh, yeah, that's how she operates. Like, she's so excited to have something in her back pocket against Heather, and she's just counting down the minutes where she can use it. But when she does actually use it, it's more to drag Katie because she just
Yep.
tells Heather, like, hey, I heard about this. But you know, it's going to come back in a certain way where Tamara's going to be like, hey, remember, you're a liar. We found out that you're a liar. That's what I see happening in the future.
Uh-huh.
But the whole tagging incident is confusing to me because I don't believe that Heather Dubrow does not know how to tag people on Instagram. I don't believe that somebody else was running her account and accidentally tagged Katie. I also don't understand how that would be throwing shade to tag somebody in your birthday party picture that's not in the picture.
I don't think that she meant to do it. I think that the obvious answer here is what somebody had said right up front, that Heather was looking at Katie's profile. And if she's looking at somebody's profile and she's looking a couple times, maybe it was the most recent person that she looked at on Instagram, then yeah, it's plausible that Katie would show up when it says, because it's recent profiles looked at. So if you go to
Okay.
tag it, maybe you went to, or maybe it's you typed in, it was Givenchy, like she was wearing a dress. You start typing in GI and it pops up and you click the wrong thing. That's all that happened there. There's no more shade to be thrown around. It's not like she's going to, because it doesn't make any sense. Why would she tag her in a birthday post if she didn't know her yet? She didn't care. What, it just doesn't make it, like, what, how is that mean to anybody? How is
I
that
don't
shady?
know.
Like, it's not, is the answer. So I think it was just a mistake, because I genuinely think that she didn't realize that she did it.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, she's pissed because Heather didn't give her the time of day. And, not to be that guy, but like, why should she want to get to
Yeah.
know you at that juncture? She doesn't know who you are. She's not going to take the time because she, as Heather says, I looked at your Instagram once. Doesn't mean I'm like, oh, that's her. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe, but it reminds me, I don't know what that movie was. It might have been Guardians of the Galaxy, or it might have been a war movie. I'm not sure, but it's a moment where the protagonist approaches the antagonist. Is like, you killed my entire family. Maybe it was Drax. And he's like, you killed everything. You took my life from me and killed my family. And the antagonist is like, for me that was just a Tuesday. Like, I don't remember. You're not important enough.
Yeah.
That's the vibe
I
I'm
think
getting.
you're thinking of Drax and Thanos, but yeah,
Was that where that was? No, it's Drax
probably.
and it starts with an
Oh,
R.
Ronan.
Ronan. Yeah, that move. Yeah, that's what I got from that. It's like, yeah,
Okay.
she
There
doesn't
you
know
go.
who you are because you're not important to her yet. And the other part is you were talking about the social media thing, like the Instagram deep dive. I think everybody does that. If you're going to
Yep.
be involved with somebody professionally or you're meeting people, whatever, you do a little Instagram dive, try to get to know
Yeah.
them a little bit or at least see what they're about. That's not a weird move.
Nope.
So for her to be asking questions, for her to be going on Instagram, all of those things, I don't see that as shade. I see that as
It's
doing your
not, it
homework.
also just doesn't add up to the same thing that I think Katie is acting like it does. Because Katie's trying to put together these pieces of a puzzle that just don't fit together.
Right.
Like, yes, like we're explaining how it actually is. And this is just some weird thing that's completely inconsequential that has nothing to do with any of this. She just
Right.
messed up and accidentally tagged you. You already called her out for it. It's not part of this huge puzzle that Heather's got this whole scheme against you. So you're trying to get out in front of it by doing all of this. Like, I think that's what she thinks it is, but it's definitely not.
I agree. Scott's calling me.
No.
I hit him with a recording. What's up? I never answer his phone calls anymore.
Yeah.
I always just text him, hey, doing this, what's up? Hey, doing that, what's up? See what he says. But anyway. But moving right along, we get to Shannon and Vicky. We get Vicky back on our screen and fresh off a staph infection and left the
Yep.
hospital against the doctor's orders because she can't slow down. The staph, MRSA's nothing to fuck with, Vicky. All right, if you have a staph infection, make sure that shit is cleared by a
Yeah.
doctor. I don't think that's a smart move just because you don't want to slow down. I appreciate that. You're moving along in your life. You feel good. You're trucking. You're getting things done. You don't want to slow down and lose that pace. I hear you. But
Good
you
job.
can't be waltzing around saying, if I squeeze like this, pus
Yeah.
comes out. Like,
No,
that's
dude.
disgusting.
But it
That's
is, it's just,
gross.
it's classic Vicky walking into Shannon's house within 30 seconds. Well, I had a staph infection, so if I lean like this and squirt out a little bit of pus, that's what's going to happen. And then he
Eh,
asked about my vagina, and it's like, Vicky, like, give us a second to warm up, all right? It's been a
nah,
little while. It's been a
nah, she's
little while.
back.
Just,
She's
just jump right
back.
in, yeah. Yeah, she's never gonna warm up to anything, so I don't know why I even ask. But pleasant to see her back on the screen. Love it.
Yeah,
And I love that
nice
they're
to have her
sitting
back.
there just kind of breaking down what they've both been up to, and they get to immediately just go right into the Tamra shit. I don't really get it. Let's just drop her into our own show. That's great. That's just, these two are genuine, and I feel like this is the way that this show goes. I would say that most of these women aren't actual friends. There's a couple pairings that I can point out and be like, oh yeah, they're actually friends. And I think that was a big gripe last year. Shannon and Vicky are very good friends. They
They
tell
do
each
seem
other
to be good
everything.
friends.
It seems like they know how each other tick, judging by the way that Shannon was talking about the John Janssen lawsuit. So yeah, I think that these two are actually friends, so it's pleasant to watch them interact on screen.
I agree. It does bring a different dimension to the show, and you can tell that they actually care about each other. But I didn't realize that Tamra didn't even call them and say, "Hey, I'm out." They found out
Just put the
through,
press out.
yeah, that was what it
Yeah.
was, and that was
Yeah.
their like, "Oh shit, okay, she's not into this anymore." So they call Paris, who is I didn't is he their attorney or their business manager or
I
like,
think he's their manager. I think he's managing the tour.
okay, all right, so he's the tour manager, and they're asking, "All right, what's the fallout? How do we go about this?" It made it seem like for a second that there was a lawsuit to be had when Shannon was talking. Like, "I have bills to pay this," and I'm like, I don't want to go down this route. Let's just do a new show." Now, will Dos Amigas sell out? Trace
I mean,
Amigas
it
sold
already
out.
has. It already
Did
has.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
good for them. All right,
Yeah.
great.
No,
I want
they
it
did a
to.
show. They did a show in Philly a couple of weeks ago, and it was sold out at
Oh,
our
great. All
favorite
right.
place, City Winery.
Nice. Nice. Shout out
Yeah.
City Winery.
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, I want them to be successful in that because Tamara just tried to drop it and act like, she was doing it for Shannon's behalf or on Shannon's behalf because,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
now she's talking about that. But before it had nothing to do with that. But now it just fits her narrative to be like, I care about her too much. I wanted her to drink. It's like, you didn't seem to care when you guys were setting the tour up. But that's neither here nor there.
Look, we know that at some point in time this season, probably Tamara's going to have a line where she says, "Shannon, you were a lot more fun when you drank."
Oh God, I hope that doesn't come out.
It's going to come out.
It'll blow. Yeah, I'll blow up. I really
It
don't want
will.
that to come out. Don't even put it out there in the universe. But we get a letter from Johnny J, from the Jan man himself, and he says that Shannon Bador owes him $75,000. I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship. I don't know their financial structure. I do know this. I know that Shannon paid for that deadbeat for a very long time. We don't
Yeah.
even know what that motherfucker does for work. And arguably, he does nothing but mooch off of rich women. So this makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I think that he's
Oh,
trying to use a scare tactic. What?
that's why this episode was so pleasant. There was no Alexis. Where the hell was she?
Oh, that
I
makes a
didn't
lot
even
of sense.
realize that she was missing.
We don't need her.
We
You
don't
don't need
need
her.
her.
You
How
really
about
don't
that?
need her.
How about that? We didn't even need her to come back into the fold. But no, I do want to hear because they didn't really break down what he's claiming that she owes him for. They
Yeah,
were
they didn't
just kind
say
of
it.
going back and forth and then saying, well, that's ridiculous. You paid for this, 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 and this. But what is he saying? And I bet your friends over at the Bravo docket probably have it all planned out. So maybe we'll have to listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, they always break it down really well when it comes to
Yeah.
the legalities of everything. But I don't know. To me, it comes off of it, and we are not attorneys. We said this on last night's episode as well. We are
Yeah.
not lawyers, okay? But for me, it sounds like a scare tactic because he knows that she is financially indebted to her children. She's putting a lot of money into their education, into their livelihoods, all of those things, which is great. She's a good mom. You can't deny that. Even if you don't like her, she takes care of her kids. Now, if Johnny J, the Jan man himself, knows that she is, she's going through it a little bit right now. She's already paid out a bunch of attorney fees for whatever lawsuit she had with Alexis's ex. Is John trying to take advantage of a situation where it's like, oh, I know she's struggling right now. I'm going to use a scare tactic and send her a letter via my attorney threatening legal action just to see if we can settle somewhere in the middle because she doesn't want to pay $100,000 in lawyer fees.
Yeah, probably. Of
That
course he
yeah,
would.
okay.
That's it. Yeah,
That's it.
honestly, yes.
He's such a piece of shit, man. What a loser. That guy
Yeah,
is the biggest loser on Bravo, and that's saying a whole lot.
yeah.
Honestly, because
He's got stiff competition, but he's up there.
he's got stiff competition, but he literally doesn't do anything. Like he
Yeah,
does nothing, and he's vying for the spotlight as the ex of a current housewife to the point where he got with another housewife that was coming back on the show, and they probably got back on the show by doing that weird relationship at the
yep,
Quiet Lady where they just ran into each other in a booth, and that story changes every time she tells
yeah.
it. But whatever. We get to another loser. We're at Jenn and Ryan's house, and I I cannot with the sex stuff. I just simply can't anymore. She's like, "How does this look?"
I groan every time.
I do too. "How does this look?"
I can't.
"Yeah, I'll like to see it on the side of my bed." We get it. You guys fuck. Good for you. You have sex. That's awesome. That's so exciting. Great. Stop talking about it. we don't care to hear about it anymore. I'm so done with it. And it also shows you the depth in which Ryan has. Everything that they talk about comes back to sex because that's all
Yep.
he thinks about is just blinking all the time. So just
Sex and
give it a
money, baby.
rest. Sex and
Sex and
money.
money.
Dude, talk about something else. Say, yeah, you would look great in that. I'm so excited to take a vacation with you. Not, I'm so excited to get to Vegas so we can fuck there too. That's what you're
Yep.
saying. And she doesn't even see it. It's very frustrating to watch, but she's worried about the optics. If I go to Vegas right now, I just got evicted from my apartment. The girls are all talking about me. Is this going to look bad on my part? Should I not post anything? And I actually agreed with the overall sentiment of this conversation from Ryan, where it's like, fuck them. At this point, you moved in with your man. Is it the right move? Probably not. This guy is bad news, and it's written all over him and all over his Ed Hardy jacket. But you're living with him. He's paying your way, and that's what the situation is. So if he wants to pay for you to go to Vegas and it's on his dime, no, you shouldn't feel guilty about doing that. That has
Yep.
nothing to do with the other women. Of course, they're going to find a reason that you shouldn't go because it's the low hanging fruit. Like, oh, she can't pay her bills, but she can go to Vegas. Well, yeah, she can go to Vegas because Ryan can afford to go to Vegas and take her, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think she made a pretty good point. If we were married and we had been married before we met them, then they wouldn't have batted an eye. It wouldn't be a problem. But also, you wouldn't have had money problems. You wouldn't have been behind on rent. So yeah, I mean, hindsight, of course. But who cares? Like, yeah,
I
they're
don't
gonna
know.
talk. Yes, you're in financial debt. I don't care for Emily saying, or was it Emily or Gina who was
It's
talking about,
Emily.
yeah, stay home for the weekend instead of going to Vegas so that you
Oh
can
no,
pay
that
or
was
you
Gina talking to Emily.
yeah, stay home for the weekend so that you can pick up another shift and work harder. Like, what is that going to do? We've
I
already
don't know.
like it's just I don't get it. The shade that gets thrown around, like, yeah, of course they're going to talk about it, but like, I don't know, make a couple of jokes here and there, maybe if that's what you want to do. It's just
It's a
it's
sticking point.
and
It's
it's
a
rich
sticking
coming
point.
from Gina too. Like, all right, Gina, were you staying home every time that you wanted to go do something so that you could pay for stuff when you didn't have money like that? Now you're talking about putting a curtain in your kid's room. Like, I don't care. It just doesn't really
No,
matter to me. It's kind of interesting to an extent, but I feel like it's doing more damage to Jen. And obviously, with a guy like Ryan, he doesn't fucking care. He just wants to go do this because he's got money that he got from gambling. He's got
yeah, he's
he's
got
got that
tons of it.
middleman gambling money. He's got that shit floating around. So yeah, who cares? Go to Vegas and have fun. They're going to talk no matter what.
Agreed, 100%. But should she, like, here's the difference. Should she get her shit together and figure out how to be self sufficient?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Especially with this guy, don't rely on him. Yes. But on the flip side, objectively speaking, are you in the wrong for taking a trip with your boyfriend to Vegas when he's paying for it? No, absolutely
No.
not. So the $133,000 in back rent is alarming. That she clearly does not make smart financial decisions. And to bet all on a yoga studio, and I have nothing against yoga studios, but making it as a fitness gym anywhere, whatever your avenue is extraordinarily difficult just because of a saturated market. So probably not your best investment. You definitely should have gotten things written on paper when you got a rent agreement that's verbal. That's just silly. So she needs help. There's no denying that. But I don't think Gina's the one to tell her because of the way she went about it, which is the funny thing. Because if
Yeah.
Gina had taken a different approach, she would probably be the best person to talk to her about it. Hey, I've been where you are. Here's what I did. Here's how I got myself up on my own 2 feet and was able to take care of myself and my family. I want to help you get there instead of,
Yeah.
look at this idiot. Now she's going to Vegas. And it's just simply jealousy. And I'm not knocking what Gina's done with her life. I think it's awesome. That rags to riches story is great. Good for you. Keep on working. That's awesome, but it's not coming off the way that she thinks it's coming off. She thinks that she is owning Jen right now. And it's like, for all intents and purposes, man, she's going on a free trip to Vegas to go to the Sphere right now. And you're going to a dive bar to reenact Coyote Ugly. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Especially Gina has so much else going on. Why don't you just
yeah, I
focus on
know,
yourself right
man.
now?
Focus on
Don't worry.
Travis.
Don't worry about Jen. You already had her conversation with her. You can't do much else. You're going to get CC'd on all those emails. What else do you want to do?
Exactly. Like, just focus on your own shit burning down. But we get a quick scene with Katie and her husband. I don't need to dive into too much of it. It just sets up
No.
this golf outing that the ladies are having later, which she very, very mistakenly names drinking and driving,
Yeah.
which even if
They
Shannon was
didn't
not
even
involved,
drive. They didn't even hit balls. They just putted.
yeah, they should have called it something with putting or chipping and putting. Sipping and chipping wasn't bad. But
Sipping and chipping's good. Yeah.
yeah, that's solid. But like, even if you're not with somebody that just recently got a DUI. Gina has a DUI under her belt as well. It's still not a good name. It's not
Nope.
like it implies drinking and driving, which is always
Yes.
bad. So that was
Yeah.
never it's not simply because of Shannon. It's simply because it's not a good name. It's insensitive
Correct.
to say the least. But we get another scene with Gina and Katie, and it's juxtaposed to a scene with Tamra, Emily at the mom's casita, at Tamra's mom's casita, and they're drinking some THC drinks. And Katie and Gina are trying to figure out some outfits for the golf outing. This made me LOL. I actually laughed out loud at this because she's showing her being Katie is showing Gina some Malbon outfits, like some cute golf attire, and she pulls one out, and Gina's like, "Ooh, I don't know." It's like, "Ooh, Gina, you're probably not the person to ask. You should probably wear that. It's probably a good outfit." Katie seems like she
Yeah.
has decent style. You do not. Okay, I'm not the fashionista here. That is your role. Shooter Magura
Yeah,
is the
I do
fashionista.
love Malbon. Malbon is a great golf brand.
No,
Have
yeah,
you ever seen the pictures of Jason Day out there on the course? And everybody makes fun of him a little bit, but now they're coming around on it. It's very cool. I think it's based out of Australia too, so that's even better. But yeah,
Melbourne.
there you go.
That's like Melbourne.
Yeah, especially after seeing what Gina actually fucking wore. What the hell was she thinking? What was that? Platform shoes and long
You're
socks? Like
golfing.
platform shoes, tube socks, and then you wore the one thing that she gave you, which was the only thing that looked good. Everything else looked fucking insane.
Yeah, when she pulled out the first outfit, she's like, "What do you think of this?" I'm like, "Oh, I like that." And she's like, "I don't know, man." I'm like, "Oh no, you
Oh no,
wear
you're
wear
lost.
that. Just wear that. I'll
Yeah,
wear it." But they're talking about the paparazzi shit again, and Katie keeps saying, "I just thought it was a silly thing." And it's like, all right, let's break down the timeline right now. You knew you were getting on this show, so you definitely did your homework on Heather Dubrow. You went to a lunch with Sutton, who gave you a heads up about Heather and said, "Hey, tread lightly. I wouldn't fuck with Heather. If Sutton's telling you she wouldn't fuck with her, you should probably pay attention because Sutton's not really afraid of anybody, more so because she doesn't think about it and puts her foot in her mouth. But
yeah.
if she's giving you a heads up, that means you know what you're walking into. So, no, you know this is not some silly one off where it's like, oh, I had no idea what I was getting into. You know the ramifications. I don't appreciate the playing dumb about it. If you're going to be this person, come in ready to go. All right, fine. You want to take on Heather? Try your best. You're not going to win, but don't play like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought this was a funny little thing. Like, you know exactly what's going on. Flash over to Tamra and Emily. And again, just so giddy that they have this. Tamra's so excited that she's going to be able to use it at some point just to take a dig on Heather. Oh, she's a liar. Oh, we got her now. It's like, no, this is such a whatever. I don't care about this storyline at all.
No, I don't care about it at all. And obviously, it makes more sense that Gina's the only one out of these four that actually makes sense. Where she's like, look, if you're going to bring it up and everybody else knows about it, it's only a matter of time until Heather finds out about it. I'd rather
Right.
her hear it from either you because you started it or me because I value my friendship with Heather. So
Yes.
one of those two things is going to happen. The other two idiots over there just licking their chops at the idea of
Oh,
making
yeah.
Heather look bad. And then I don't fucking understand what ended up happening. But sitting over there and making fun of her and being excited that this was going to come out, why wouldn't you just let it play out? Like, why in the world, if that's what you wanted, and I think that is what you wanted, we'll talk about it in a second. I don't understand what they did eventually, but sitting over there and licking your chops about this entire stupid thing that we already did last year, we don't want to do it again. You guys went after Heather for all the dumbest shit in the world. Yes, we all knew that the paparazzi was called. Yes, we knew that those photos were staged. Move on. Like, what are you're going to catch her in a lie? She's just going to deny it. There's no way
Yeah.
that she doesn't deny it, especially at this point. She already did it all last year. What do you think she's going to turn around and turn into Jackie Goldschneider and just admit it? No, she's not going to.
Okay,
Like,
fine. I did it.
yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm caught red-handed now that I have a screenshot text. So yeah, I don't understand that. But Katie pushing this, I don't know what she thought was going to happen. Sitting down with that group of girls on this show, you did your homework. Did you not think that they were just going to tell Heather, or that you were going to be forced to talk to Heather about it?
She
Did you
knew.
think you were going to be able to just like quietly go about your business and bring it up whenever you wanted? You shouldn't have played your hand that quickly. As I said earlier, hold on to that. And if Heather pisses you off, then you break it out. You don't go ahead and do it on your own and be proactive about it. See what happens. Maybe you could use Heather as an ally. She's a pretty strong ally. I don't know what you're doing. So yeah, the juxtaposed scenes were not my favorite. I love juxtaposed scenes, but this was not one of my favorites.
No, because it was shoddy at best. It was clumsy, and there wasn't really anything of substance. It's two of the women giggling and laughing because they have some dirt.
Yep.
There was the other two trying to explain the situation away, or one of the two trying to explain it away. And be like, it's not that big of a deal. And Gina's like, it's gonna be. This is gonna be a big deal. It didn't need to be. And that's
Yep.
what I think that at least us, and I don't know about the rest of the viewers out there, but where it's like, yeah, we did this song and dance. Like, we don't care about this. This season's going well. Let's not bog it down with some bullshit that we did last season over something that's so irrelevant, by the way. Even if it comes out that she was lying, what is that going to do? Damage her brand?
Nothing.
No, she's going to be fine. She's
Yep.
going to be totally fine. It's not going to hinder anything. So I don't understand it. And it's all coming from Katie feeling like she's slighted because Heather's asking questions about who this person is coming onto the show and going on your Instagram. Again, that's not damning behavior. That's just doing your homework. So I'm confused. And that's where I'm like, Katie's doing too much. She's pulling an
Yeah.
Anna Marie, coming in too comfortable, too hot, too quick.
I don't feel comfortable labeling her as Anna Marie because Anna Marie
Okay.
really sucked.
That's fair. And
Really
Katie
sucked
doesn't
the
really
entire
suck.
season.
She's on the fence.
Katie's okay. She's just on the fence right now. We're not really sure
Yeah,
where
I
she
agree.
stands.
I agree. I'm not loving her, but I it's not Anna Marie was shit from day one. So you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But we get to the golf outing and Gina and Heather having a quick chit chat about Travis. And this was funny to me in a sad way. Not funny, haha, but just like the perspective that Gina has on this whole thing is hard to understand for me because she's like, it feels like, Travis is breaking up with me. And I'm like, let's let it settle. There's a lot of emotion right now, and you can break up with me 3 months from now.
Yeah.
You kicked him out of your house. I never thought this was going to work.
Yeah, I don't blame her for kicking him out, given what
I
was
don't
going on.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
we I think we said that last week when we had the Bravo moms on. It makes sense. Like you don't want
Totally.
that sort of toxicity around. You've got 6 fucking kids running around. You'd like to cut that in half, let him take care of his own for a little while, and then you guys can come back together when all this is sorted out. All of that makes sense. But you don't get to have it both ways. Like, what
No.
did you think he was going to do? We speculated last week that maybe it was like to protect him from the show so that more information doesn't get out and then they don't have to put Gina in a weird spot and then they can use it against them, whatever that might happen. It seems like she was doing this for her own good and that's all well and good. But complaining now and saying that it seems like he's breaking up with me and, don't break up with me now, break up with me in 3 months. Like none of that makes any sense. So it's like she made this decision, but she hasn't processed her emotions, which actually is kind of
Maybe.
normal. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
just funny
fine.
watching her talk to Heather about it.
For me, it's more so like you don't get to give him the boot from the house and then dictate whether or not he wants to remain in the relationship. To me,
Yeah.
if you get kicked out of a house, that's grounds for breaking up. And you're going to grow apart because you're not staying in the same home together anymore. Like things are going to happen. So for her to be like, well, no, don't leave now. It's like, well, if that was the case, then you should have had a better plan. Because even as Travis is packing up his shit to leave, it still doesn't seem like you guys are on the same page as to what's going on moving forward. So that was a strange situation for me where it's like, no, don't do this though. Like you still got to be my boyfriend, but just get the fuck out.
Yeah.
He might not want to anymore. And that's going to be hard for her to process. I agree. Maybe she's still working through everything and it hasn't landed yet. I don't know. But it was just like the 3 months thing. Like, give me 3 months. That's a long time. Like,
Yeah.
I would understand if it's like, give me a couple weeks, let the dust settle. Like 3 months. You're locked in, buddy, for a quarter of a year. But we get to see everybody putt, which was fun. I like to see who our athletes are. Emily is the clear winner here. Gina had a chance and she 3-putted, which is very relatable. Losing the match on a 3-putt. We've all been there. Shit happens. It's always on a 2-footer. You're right there. You overthink it and you overshoot it. That shit happens all the time. So I felt that. I related to that one for sure. We get some dogs at the turn, also relatable. That's where I didn't like that Heather's like, I love hot dogs. It's like, you don't do that. Just eat the hot dog.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with that at all.
In the
Everybody
moment,
loves hot dogs.
have a bite of a dog and say, God, I love hot dogs. I'd be like, all right, don't go to your confessional.
Well, no, I think
and
it's
then tell him
known that she loves hot dogs.
Oh, everyone knows she likes hot dogs?
Everybody knows it.
That's even more of a reason for me to be like, she does the hot dog
Yeah,
shtick.
but
It's
it's
like,
not like
I'm one of you.
it's not like
No,
she
you're
was
not.
like,
You
I
have
don't
$1 billion.
I don't always need to eat lobster. I can have hot dogs every once in a while.
That's my
That would be
point.
bad. That would be bad. She didn't say
That's
that.
what I get from
All she
that,
said
though.
was, "I love hot dogs." I think you have a
Yeah, it
problem
comes
with
off
Heather.
that way. I don't.
Yeah.
I actually don't have a problem with Heather. I have a
What, you
problem with
don't
Heather
rich people can't eat hot
relating.
dogs?
Rich people can't eat hot dogs. Of course, they can eat hot dogs. They can't use hot dogs as a way to relate to us small folk. That's my
I
problem.
don't think she was
That's
trying
all.
to be relatable. I think she's
I
just
do.
stating a fact. She loves hot
Yeah.
dogs,
Well, you're wrong. Then it's
especially
fine.
pigs in a blanket.
You're. Oh, I love pigs in a blanket.
Oh,
But
yeah,
they're
'cause
classier
fucking
hot dogs, depending on
yeah,
the situation. Because you can have pigs in a blanket at like a cocktail event, and it's like, ooh, fancy.
sure.
But if you roll out like a Fenway Frank, that's not the same thing. So it's a
Why's it gotta be
fancier
from
hot dog.
Fenway?
I just the first Fenway Frank Dodger dog. Phillies doesn't have a clever name for a hot dog.
Yeah,
It's not like a
maybe
fanatic wiener.
maybe that's why we suck right now.
I don't. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the Phils right now. I shouldn't even brought it up. But you get Heather, Tamra, and Emily, and of course Tamra's the one to bring it up. I don't know if you heard or not, but Katie's been saying some shit. She lights the fire as she always does, which is actually fine. You know, we need that person on every show, and
I
Tamra will
don't
always be
see.
that person.
I don't agree with that at all because I don't
Okay.
like that she had the scene before this where she's talking with Emily, talking about how great it's going to be that Heather's going to get her comeuppance, and then you come groveling to her to let her know what Katie knows, so that you can still be her friend. That's the Tamra shit that I don't love, and I fucking hate that because
What's
now you're
that
going to be like,
move?
oh, it's a Tamra move. It's a
Oh, I
Tamra
know
move to
why
say
though.
because she wants to still be close to Heather. She doesn't want to be the one that points it out later. She doesn't want to
Okay.
be the one that says, "Oh yeah, and you lied about the paparazzi photos." She will probably still do that, as you pointed out earlier. She'll bring it up later in the season. That's the end of the Tamra move. But this is so annoying because you could have just sat back and watched this happen. You could have just been talking about it. You don't have to make it super awkward. You don't have to make it look like you're being a friend by coming to Heather and telling her what Katie told. Now you're just dragging Katie. What's the point in dragging Katie? There's no point to it. She's
I don't
new
know.
person. She's a new girl on the block. There's no reason to drag her because she hasn't proven herself yet. Let this play out, and then you can get involved later. That's the smarter play. By forcing it, especially Tamra forcing it, makes no sense. I just don't get it. It's just for
I was
screen time, and
confused.
that's what she does.
Yeah, I was confused by why she took that approach after saying like, "Oh, we got something on Heather," and then she tells Heather. I was like, "That's weird." But on the flip side, you get Katie telling Shannon what's going on, and Katie being like, "I'm not threatened by anybody," and it's really funny. Every single cast member going, "Good luck, good, like nice knowing you. You're
Yeah.
not going to win this battle, and you might not feel threatened now." Heather's going to eat your lunch. Like you're not ready for this fight. None of us take on Heather, and we tried last year as a group to throw dumb irrelevant things at her all season to try to
Yeah.
pick on her, and it didn't land. It didn't work. So best of luck to you. She's gonna ruin you.
But
Good luck.
I do think it's really funny that Katie's like, "Wait, does Shannon know what's going on? Let me fill her in first before I go talk to Heather." How
Yeah,
important is it that everybody knows what's going on before the person that is
it's
involved knows what's going on?
worse because it's
That
gonna
doesn't
come
make any
back
sense.
to you.
You're just wasting time. While you're wasting time telling Shannon what's going on because Shannon wasn't there, Tamara's over there cucking you.
Yep, you've been
You're
cucked by
screwed.
Tamra.
You've been cucked by Tamara. See you later. That was a dumb move. Go over and you have that conversation right away. You don't go putting. You don't do that. You don't let anybody cuck you. That's another thing that we need to put up in the wall of some sort of
Rule number
housewife
6:
clubhouse.
don't
Don't
get
let
cucked.
another castmate cuck you. That's what you
Yeah,
got to.
don't get cucked. Rule
Yep.
6. That's everybody knows it. And you're right. I
That's
think
for
that would have made
life.
a stronger statement, in my opinion, if she'd walked up to Heather immediately and said, "Hey, can we go have a one-on-one real quick? We need to
Yep.
settle something. I want to move past this," rather than it come up later. And then, like I said, it's gonna be worse for you because Heather's gonna realize that everybody else knows about this, and you've been talking about this before you
Mhm.
talk to her about it, and that adds a little stank to the mixture. But
Yep.
we finally get the Katie Heather conversation, and she, she lost in the intro. She goes, "We've kind of had this weird looming thing." And Heather's like, "This weird looming thing came about because of what you're doing behind the scenes. We didn't
Yep.
have a weird looming thing until you started to draw attention to it." And then she brings up Sutton's Christmas party. You looked right at me, turned around, didn't have the time of day for me. To which I say again, is it the politest thing in the world? No. But why should she? Like, why would you be important for Heather to know in that moment? That's where I'm confused by it.
Yeah.
Because she looked at your Instagram once because she found you're coming. Like, I don't know if that truly says like fuck you. Like that's where my big
Yeah.
question mark is if we know how that moment went down, if Sutton was there and was like, oh yeah, like she made eye contact, it was very apparent that she knew her and kind of like highbrowed her and turned the other way, like stuck her nose up at her. All right, you have some ammo there. But from what I'm hearing, it's just like, yeah, she looked at you and looked the other way. Doesn't seem that big of a deal to me, to the point where you're now going after her by digging up information, by trying to find out shit through the paparazzi, through your dear, dear friend that runs all the paparazzi in LA, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I get confused. I'm like, you seem to have a big chip on your shoulder. You could be irritated. You could be
Sure.
annoyed by Heather, but to take it upon yourself to try to take Heather down, and by doing it this way, is very confusing. And but then to even go further
Yeah.
and say, when I came into this group knowing that you lied, it's like, why are you the arbiter and the just what am I trying to say? Why is it your job to come into this group and out her for being a liar? You're new
Yeah,
here.
I don't get it, and especially because we've had now 3 weeks for you to build your case against Heather, or at least to the
Yeah.
audience, just tell us why you feel this way about Heather. Because so far, all I'm hearing is standard practice. She doesn't care
Yeah.
about who you are because why should she? Now she knows that you're going to be on a show, so she's looking at your Instagram. She's asking your friends about you because she's going to be working with you. This all seems pretty normal. She's not talking shit on you. She's not saying, why would this girl be on this show? I don't even know who she is. Why is she now being selected to be a housewife? She's not doing any of that. Even if you told us that she was doing that, then we'd be like, okay, if she did that, then yeah, maybe you have a bit of a case against her and you need to go take her down because you feel like she's judging you. Fine. You didn't do any of that. You've had our undivided attention for 3 weeks to talk about this. And so far, all we've heard is Heather just wants to know who you are. And now she cares because you're working with her. So you're going to call her a liar?
Yeah, it's weird.
It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know where she goes.
It doesn't make any sense. And Heather has a great line where it's like, it would be better if you came into this group to make friends, not to come in here to take somebody down. And
Yeah.
that should be on the board as well. Like, newcomers should not come in immediately going after an OG. It does not work
Yeah.
out. Look at Monica. She's in the Hall of Fame for one and dones. She came into the show, took her time, and then had one of the biggest reveals that we've ever had on one
Yeah.
of these shows. So that's the way to do it if you're going to take somebody down or go after a whole group or whatever your tactic might be. If it's nefarious, take your time with it. As you've
Yeah.
said multiple times this episode, don't play your hand so quick, because now what
Mhm.
do you have? When Heather steamrolls you, which we know she's going to do, you're not going to win this battle. You're going to be left in shambles and no one's going to care anymore.
Right.
That's the game you play when you take that risk. And we've never seen it work out, ever. We've never seen a newcomer come in the first 3 episodes with a vendetta and it pan out. Look at Alexis. She came in ready to take down Shannon after a hiatus with the John Janssen shit. Nobody cares that she's dating John Janssen. That's her only sticking point. Is it entertaining sometimes when she gets on the screen and like acts like it's a big deal? Yeah, fine. Okay, whatever. Is it going to carry her through the season? Absolutely not. It's already run its course. So that's the whole thing. If you played this close to the chest and if you put pieces in motion and been a little bit cryptic about it, okay, I'll fuck with that. But all your cards are on this. We know exactly where you stand now, and you're
Yep.
not going to win. And then once you lose, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, she can't hang. She can't handle it. See you later."
Stupid.
Great episode though.
Stupid
Great
move.
season so
Great,
far.
great episode. I'm
Enjoying
loving
it
it.
all. Now let's get to some questions.
You got your phone back? Oh, look at you.
I found it. Yeah, I finally found it. All right, let's see what we have here. Up first from Annie McIver. MacIver. Do you think Heather called the Paps? Why would she get angry if she didn't? Yes, we agree that she did. I don't understand why she's getting mad because people keep questioning her and they're outing her.
Yeah.
Who cares is what we think.
Yeah, it's last season's stupid storyline that everybody agrees. Well, most people agree that last season sucked. So why are we
A lot
bringing
of
it
our
back?
listeners didn't. That's just our sentiment. A lot of people
Yeah,
liked last season. We didn't.
stupid. Well, either way, it's really dumb. It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, she's gonna keep getting mad because people are calling it like Katie actually called her a liar and brought it up multiple times. That's gonna piss anybody off. So
Sure.
if that alone is going to piss her off, sure, whatever. We know that she called the paparazzi. We know it was staged. Who cares?
And a follow-up to that, same Anna McIver. Do you think Katie has real receipts? Because the one receipt we've seen is nah.
Yes. Like, it's just
Yes.
the yes. No, real receipts I would reserve for we know who this person is and this person actually confirmed it and we know that this person confirmed it. Boy, we don't know who this person is. We don't care and whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's it. Like it doesn't matter. That's not a real receipt. It's just a text message.
Yeah, this thing is not landing. This
No.
this airplane's not landing well. But
No.
from Caleb Howell, other than Heather, who in the cast would you have liked Katie to have some drama with?
Anyone? I mean, Tamra's an easy one, but that just activates Tamra and she just starts yelling all the time. Anybody but Shannon,
Yeah.
because Shannon's been going through it. So yeah,
Yeah,
anybody
give
but
Shannon a
Shannon.
break.
Yeah.
I agree with that one. And the last one from Gracie, the Great White Westie. What's Gina's next move? Dating men for more money? Oh my God. Has real estate made her hungry for money? What?
Probably. I mean, I would say, yeah, if she's talking about how she went through it and now she actually has enough, maybe she'll get hungrier. I don't know if she's going to date men for money,
I don't think
but
that's her move. She seems to be on the watch me work train, which I love. Like, go
yeah,
make that
yeah,
money. You don't need no man for
yeah,
sure. No, I don't think she's going to look for a sugar daddy. I think she's going to
yeah,
try to prove, look how much money I can make on my own, which is great.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, I
no,
agree.
and maybe she is hungry for more money. And look, if she wants to rise to the occasion and join the ranks of some of the other housewives in this group and do it on her own, fuck yeah, we're here for that. I don't think that she's going the route of a sugar daddy. She has not leaned
No,
into that at all.
I
No,
don't. Yeah, I
but
don't think so.
yeah, it's a good season so far. And if you're listening and not watching, do yourself a favor, jump on in. It's a good it's definitely a good housewife show right now, and we needed it. It came at the right time, as I said in the beginning. So jump on into Rosie, everybody, if you haven't yet. But other than that, make sure if you have not yet, sign up for Broth Bros members. We have our next exclusive episode coming out this week. So jump into that as soon as you can. $5 for the month, 50 for the year. The link is at the end of this episode description at the bottom, or our Instagram bio. And other than that, do you have anything else?
No,
Broth Bros are out of here.
later.